fresh and
what
beautiful
an
and rock and roll.
Welcome from me. This is a crowd. This
No,
is for you.
that was you. They didn't do that when I came out. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm
No.
just kidding. You were very kind to me.
You are very kind, very kind.
No,
and
but
gorgeous.
you
You're
look
very gorgeous.
very fresh. I heard you just go back. Is it Spain? Were you there?
I did. We just did spring break in Spain.
Yeah.
My kids are learning Spanish, and we thought, well, we should go immerse them a little bit, at least make them try to like order and, you know, get a little practice. We have a friend who lives in Madrid, so we went to Barcelona and Madrid. We just did the cities.
Yeah.
My husband, after about 4 spring breaks of beach vacations, decided the kids need more culture.
Yeah.
So we have to actually, we can't just go to the beach and lie down, which is all I wanted to do, by the way.
It's so funny. My family did that. Me and my kids did that too. We went more China and Japan and didn't do a beach thing.
Yes.
And they were like, it would be nice to find a beach. And I was like, whatever. They loved it.
But we did all the museums. We saw, you know, when you go to Barcelona, you're there for Gaudi, who is sort of the Spanish Leonardo, I almost said Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Leonardo
Da Vinci.
Yeah,
the OG Leonardo.
The OG Leonardo, yeah. You know, and so they got to see the Sagrada Familia and Park Güell and like all these amazing cultural institutions in Spain. It was an incredible trip.
I saw you did something that we both have done. You went up with a fighter jet, right? In a fighter jet?
I did, and I heard you also went in a fighter jet.
What was your experience like?
Well, so I don't know how yours was, but you have to spend a little time sort of prepping to go in, right? And the prep, this is me, there I am, we went up.
Yeah, Maverick, okay.
The prep, you're basically riding a rocket. My husband got to walk me out to it, and as he was saying goodbye to me, he was like, don't be a hero. I think he was worried I was just gonna puke everything up.
Yeah.
So one thing they tell you is you can eat a banana because it looks the same going in as coming back out.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one tip they gave me. The other thing was all about, I don't know if you remember, it was a 5-point like harness.
Yep.
And you go out and I think we crossed 2 states in like 10 minutes. And they have to burn off all this fuel because they told me when you come back for the landing, they don't want to have a lot of gas in the tank because what if the plane catches fire? They don't want like a fireball.
And they tell you this right before you go out to go.
They're like, so when we land, we gotta burn it off.
Like what?
And how about, then they're like, you're in the mask, you have a mask on, you're like this, you can see like right here. And they're like, okay, let's practice taking your harness off so you can get out of the plane, like quick, in case it's literally on fire. I can't even see where the harness is. Like, I was like, well, I guess this is it for me in this plane.
Did you puke?
I did not puke.
Okay.
And I did about 7.5 Gs, I want to say.
Okay.
So like I felt really cool at like 6, 7 Gs because they're like, you get past 7, 8, 9 is like you're out. You're like passed out. It is the craziest thing you can do. The fact that they do that for a living on the daily is bananas. I mean, literally bananas. But you know, you go up like this, you take off, and then you barrel roll upside down and out of it. So like you're upside down and rolling within 20 seconds.
You have no idea what you're doing.
You have no idea what you're doing. And so we did a barrel, same thing. We was like, let's do a trick. So we do like a barrel roll. And I basically said, if you go again, I will throw up. Like I could feel it coming.
I did well, and then I did well with one, and then it was the last one, and he actually hit a certain amount of G's because he said, oh, if you don't mind not telling anyone. He was like, we actually hit a little further than we're supposed to, or I hit a little harder or whatever, and I was like, I'm not gonna tell anyone, but I feel really cool.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was like taking track of like how many G's we got.
Anyway, so your boys, I have to say, do they watch your movies? Are they like fan? Do they know?
They have started, like they've watched The Hunger Games and they've watched Pitch Perfect. There's really only one that I'm like, I don't love the idea of them watching, which is The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Oh. So The 40-Year-Old Virgin, mommy has a real good time in the bathtub, like solo in the bathtub.
What a role.
And not that we don't speak openly. We're a sex positive family, so like we speak openly about these things, but I don't know that they need to see their mom like actually doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a little
like let's not put that visual in there.
Yeah.
So I haven't had them watch it, but I had a friend call me to say that their son, who's one of my son's best friends, he's like, I hate to tell you, but someone to a sleepover and he watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin and he might look at you differently now. And like, I'm like his Auntie Liz, you know? And I truly can't look this kid in the eye anymore.
And you know he told your son.
I don't
You
know.
know for sure.
I actually think he's traumatized and has said nothing, no words
He's
to
just, like,
anyone in
not
my family.
speaking
I think
about
he's like
it.
pretending it never happened. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm like serving him dinner, like, huh? And I'm just imagining like what's in his mind's eye of like me, like, woo, diddle diddle.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hope your kids never watch it. Okay, that was another look at her new series for Peacock. It's called The Miniature Wife, and all 10 episodes are streaming now. We're also enjoying some of her Archer
Roos
are we-
wine.
Yes, Archer
Yes,
Roos wine.
we're
Let's
having
do
Archer
it.
Roos.
I know, I chose this. I chose the Pinot Noir.
I love the Pinot Noir.
Is that
and
your
I like
favorite?
I like
Bubbly
it
rosé?
chilled, the Pinot Noir. I'm having the bubbly rosé. I like the bubbly rosé and the rosé and the Sauvignon Blanc and the Pinot Noir and the Malbec.
That's good.
Isn't it yummy?
Yes, it is.
I know.
I should probably try it again.
Archer Roos luxury wine in a can. We're sort of, what I fell in love with about this company really is the innovation. We like to remind people that like 25 years ago, 80% of beer was sold in bottles, and now 80% of beer is sold in cans.
Yeah.
And we've all seen over the last like decade, corks becoming like, nah, we don't have as many corks. Everything's a screw top. And everyone was like, well, that's not good. And now we're like, yeah, all wine with screw top, fine.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is that you cannot recycle glass in every municipality, but aluminum you can. You can crush it down. It weighs nothing. It's really good in all kinds of scenarios, but we're on Princess Cruise Lines and JetBlue Airlines and in all your favorite hotels and restaurants, especially here in New York. So
I love the
Roos,
easy
check
travel.
it out.
The easy travel as well.
Oh, it's a traveler.
Yeah.
We call it a traveler.
Oh my God, I love that. So wait, let's talk about your new show though. So you play a writer who accidentally gets shrunk.
Yes. By my crazy scientist husband.
Yes.
Has been working on a formula for shrinking things. He thinks he's going to solve world hunger, and instead he shrinks his wife.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many jokes there.
There are, and we have a lot of them, and we play it. It's a very funny show. But what I really was drawn to was we get to sort of talk about a big feeling, which is feeling diminished by a partner, or you know, in your professional life, your romantic life. I think we all have that relatable experience of being made to feel small.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, and in this case, it's literal,
physical,
and physical, and we get to sort of look at that from an absurdist lens, but talk about some, you know, really big issue that I think people understand.
Yeah, and relate to for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. In your career, you had to have had multiple times where you were made to feel small, right?
Sure.
I feel all of us have.
Yeah, everyone, I mean, first
No
of
matter
all,
what you do.
Also, I mean, it can, yes, I mean, I was literally told once I direct films, and I was told, like, you can't direct men, they won't follow you.
Well, thank you.
For instance.
Cool.
And then I directed Ray Liotta, who played Henry Hill in Goodfellas, and I felt like, I think I nailed it. Checked all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Does it kind of, it shouldn't have to be like this, but does it kind of fuel your fire?
Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
because they tell me, they're like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, bitch, watch me. I'm like,
this energy.
no, that's why I'm like, you
energy.
just like made it the red button. Yeah, that I'm totally gonna press.
Yeah.
You've directed and produced many female-forward projects.
Yes.
So in what way do you want to inspire other women in creative spaces? Because you have been so successful, you're so great at what you do, but you know it's also important to turn around and help others too, right? So into those creative spaces.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
stories.
like, if the door gets open, make sure you put your hand back and pull other people through the door with you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I feel really lucky. I've always said, you know, I'm not trying to like particularly change the world. I'm just trying to lead by example.
Yeah.
And also, I stand on the shoulders of so many women who came before me. There are a lot of actors, directors actually out there. I mean, Barbra Streisand comes to mind.
Oh,
she made some bangers. They were nominated for Best Picture. You know,
Has
she
two faces.
does
What?
it all.
Yeah.
And you know, I think her, Jodie Foster, Drew Barrymore. I mean,
Yeah.
so despite me knowing that I'm in a great club, it's a really small club, and it needs more representation. Like, we need more storytellers from different perspectives, angles, whatever, and we need more audiences to watch. And what's great is there's a lot more equity and parity on TV, like The Miniature Wife, starring me, and we're having a lot of, you know, so I'm having a lot of fun making sure that women have a real sense of agency in whatever they're doing, whatever stories I'm telling.
Yeah, you've had a lot of props to work with this, because everything in this series is like, it's huge, but it's small things actually in real life. What was that like?
Well, so because I'm 6 inches tall, and I mostly had to shoot that on a green screen, and every once in a while, in order to give me a sense of reality.
You're not performing to a tennis ball, don't tell me.
I am.
I hate when y'all tell me that. All the actors always say they're performing to tennis balls. I'm like, I mean, I know you're actors, but that sucks.
It's very vulnerable, and I'm not someone, I'm like, not, this isn't the actor's studio, so I don't really need to get into the whole process of it all, but you know, it's a very vulnerable thing already to be like, I'm an actor, and here I'm doing some, like, you know, funny things. Now I'm doing it by myself in a space alone, pretending that my scene partner is there, and he's, like, literally on vacation. So it was really vulnerable, but to help me, the prop department would build real giant-sized props. So I would watch Matthew McFadden, who plays my husband in the series. No, big up to Matthew.
We love Matthew.
He won Succession, you know, that's what he's famous for, Tom Wamsgans. And so I would watch a scene with him, and he would have a prop, like he would have a coffee mug, or at one point, a toilet plunger. And then I would walk into a room, and there would be a 2.5-story toilet plunger, exact replica,
That's
like
kind.
30
That's
feet
helpful.
tall, that now I'm gonna interact with to, like, intercut with him with the toilet plunger. They were amazing like that.
That's kind, because like coming in and picturing that, it's like, I don't even know what that looks like.
I thought I was gonna be just on like a green stick, and instead I have a toilet plunger.
That's cool.
They also made me a 6-foot-tall Hershey bar that was actually edible that I could nibble on for like a week, and I barely made a dent in it. You know, they made a popcorn kernel that was like this big, one kernel of popcorn. There it is, that's my kernel of popcorn. That was edible, I ate that, it was made out of sugar. And doesn't it look amazing?
Yes.
I know, and like that's a Post-it note, meant to be a Post-it note in the background there. That's the actual size of a Post-it note. There was a lot of math.
I was gonna say, there's so much math going on here that it upsets me. I would get overwhelmed.
Like, well, if you're this big and you're this big, so yeah, those were like real Post-it notes blown up to like the size that I would be next to a Post-it note.
That's like when you're in the group project and you're like, so like if it was this big and this big, then it would be 6. That's what I was thinking.
I was always the presenter of the project, right? I was like, you know, I'll do the talking, but like you do the math part, and then I'll present.
I'd like finish with them. Like, 6, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say too. I'm so smart too. Wait, before we go, you've done so many jobs. So what drew you to hosting a game show? We were talking about Press Your Luck earlier.
I know. Thank you for loving Press Your Luck, and I like the suggestion to do it as Effie. That was very fun. You know, I grew up with game shows. I love game shows. I'm a gamer. I'll sit down and play cards with you right now. Mahjong, spades, you name it. Let's go.
I love Mahjong. I got a story. Okay.
So when this came about, I was like, I grew up on Press Your Luck. I loved Peter Tamarkin. I loved the whammy. I was like so into it. And then I started shooting, and I was crying with these contestants. Like I get to give people life-changing money, and these are nurses and first responders and teachers, you know, that we pull from incredible contestants from all over the country, and we're basically like, oh, you want a car? Here's a car, like, you know, like. I get to be Oprah. There's a better job in Hollywood. It's Oprah. I get to be Oprah on Press Your Luck. Like it's so fun. So I absolutely love it. I hope I get to do it a long time. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I hope everyone watches because we have a great time on Press Your Luck.
I love games. I love that whole environment. It's so much fun. Have you ever done the Hollywood game night? I've done that a couple times. I've never done it. Oh my God, I loved it so much. I think I was a lot for them. I think they were like, you need to calm down.
I would be, almost too competitive.
And somebody actually thought that I was drunk and I hadn't had a sip. I was like, this is literally who I am. I was like, I don't know what that says when someone thinks you're hammered. Welcome back. Elizabeth Banks is here with us. Her new series is called The Miniature Wife. You can catch it now on Peacock. In the show, Elizabeth is shrunken, which means a lot of everyday things become huge and scary, which naturally calls for a round of What's Creeping Up On Me?
What's creeping up on me?
Elizabeth is gonna start with her back to the screen, and I'm gonna give her clues about what huge, tiny things are creeping up behind her without saying the name of said thing. Then we're gonna switch sides, and Elizabeth, I love you're acting it out with me, I can see it. And Elizabeth, she's ready. She's gonna give me clues, we're gonna switch, and we can pass if anything is too hard. If we can correctly guess 10 creepy things in 2 rounds, we win the pride and joy of being able to identify lots of creepy things.
I want that.
I want that pride and joy.
I want.
I want it. Okay, let's start. The clock. Woo! Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you can get bitten by them, like at a
spider?
Playground. There's a lot of them. They're very strong.
Ant?
They can. Yes. This is the smallest dog ever.
Chihuahua?
Okay, but it was dirty, so it.
Dirty chihuahua?
Oh no, wait, now we
Dirty
moved on.
dachshund?
Oh, these you build them with your kids.
Legos?
Yes. And then it isn't a centipede, it's another type of.
Millipede?
Yep. And then this is, they're in Toy Story. There's a lot of them, they're green.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, the toy
We
soldiers?
switched. Okay,
Is that
we
what it was?
switched. Yeah, toy
Okay,
soldier.
dang
and
it.
I don't know if we
Okay.
could do the
What
whole
did we
thing.
get? I feel like the centipede millipede, I was
I
kind of
don't
given
know if
half of
I'm.
that answer.
Yeah,
but
I don't
okay.
know if I'm allowed to say that. I panicked. So I panicked. So we don't have to count that
Okay,
one.
well, here comes me panicking. I have no idea what's about to happen. This is fun. All right, okay, we need 6 more.
Okay.
Okay, me and you, we got this, baby. We're winners.
I got
Here
it.
we go.
I got it.
Okay, we gotta go fast. Here we go. You use them to put something together with a
a screwdriver. Screw.
You don't want this in your kitchen sink at night. You wake up, you turn the light on, and there's a blank running across the floor.
Rat, mouse, cockroach.
It's an insect cover. You eat them. They come on a tree. It's like almonds, cashews,
Nuts.
Nuts.
Nuts. Walnuts.
Yes. Oh, it goes really slow up and has its own house. It brings its own house with it.
The
Yeah, it has its own house and it goes really slow up and out, like it's like a spiral house on its back.
Snail.
Yes. You eat them for breakfast. Kellogg's
Cereal.
the actual one, not K.
We don't eat cereal.
They have no sugar.
Special
They're
K.
just- No, the other one.
Cheerios.
No, the ones that are like
Frosted
snow.
Flakes.
Like
Cornflakes.
Yes.
Is that it? Oh.
Okay, no. They buzz around.
Bees.
Bees.
Okay. Woo! We did